Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Hope everybody's doing great. So before we start, quick disclaimer, anything we discuss is only for educational purpose, nothing is financial advice. Alright guys, I'm going to use the format I did last time. I'm going to do a very quick introduction before we start with the recaps, right? Lot to recap today, the breakout setups, the earning gap and craps, how to long the 512 calls. So you're going to learn a lot of those things. If you're new, we trade the Ripster EMA cloud system, or the system that I have been teaching freely for 8-9 years that has changed many lives. You can check ripstereducation.com, you can check tennertradegroup.com, you can Google about it. But we trade this repeatable system, and it includes all my teachings for day trading, swing trading, investment, everything. It's not just the indicators, it's all the teachings that we do. We trade this every day in Tanner Trade Group, one of the largest trading communities, live trading communities, educational trading communities. Not an alert service, but that helps to make successful, consistent traders. So we trade all these setups there. So I will go through. We will go through our top trades today. We'll discuss our winners. We will discuss our losers. We'll discuss all our pre-market plan. We plan everything live in the pre-market, like earnings, breakouts. Everything is planned. The plan is given to the community members in the pre-market before the move happens. We have day two strategy. We trade futures. We have future levels. So we have all these prep sheets are provided to the traders in the community so that they can trade them on their own. I will show you how it was the plan, how did we trade it, what was my live guidance. I'm on voice, I'm on live screen, I'm on voice, guiding the traders through the trade setups, and so that you guys also can implement these setups. You don't know trade gut feeling trades, repeat this for life. You can learn everything at ripstereducation.com, or you can join the community where we have tools for you guys to succeed. Many scanners, there's a lot of tools. Okay, so anyways, that's a quick introduction. You can go through our X accounts, you can go through my previous YouTube videos, you can watch my webinars. If you want to know more about me, you can search Google Ripster, you can go to YouTube and Google me, my old webinars, and you can see what I have done in the market. My bigs and downs, how I have changed lives over the year. So anyways, that was a quick introduction. I just want to start with today's recap. Don't want to take too much time. Let's start. So let's start with one of the easiest and the best earning setup for us today, which ran all day. So that one is Wayfair. So reason I want to talk about is the concept of 100. So I've been teaching this concept of trading and investing versus 100 for many years. There's so many examples. If you go to my Twitter, you will see like what I told about investing in Amazon, Google, even AMD when it breaks out over 100. I teach, it's a full process. But even for trading, today only I will show you 3 examples how you can use 100. Right? My traders already know this, so they're killing it already. So Wayfair, let's see. Let's look at Wayfair here. So if I look at the pre-market plan we had on Wayfair, you see that Wayfair I highlighted as a red as a main play, and I highlighted as a red as a main play. You can see that the plan was to trade versus 100 psychological level, 52-week high. Always look at, it's also a breakout. Whenever there's a news, there's a catalyst, you see that it's breaking out of a daily chart. If it's breaking out of a daily chart, you always pay attention if it's breaking out of that daily chart, because it's catalyst plus breakout, A plus setup. So it was breaking out of the daily chart as well already, but then it was also breaking out of 100. Right, so it's a weekly chart. This is a weekly breakout and a daily breakout, so it's also breaking out of 100. So you see that once it crosses 100, you take it long, right? You take it long and you take starter. If you are not comfortable, just take a starter, or even it give you a pullback to 100. So you buy that pullback and you long it, and you put your stops under this area under 512's resistance becomes support, and you just hold it. You take your initial profits at 10 a.m. It pulls back, held the clouds. That's when I told the traders this was that it's testing a flag. So we were testing a flag, and then we moved our stops higher. When it broke off the flag, we moved our stops higher, and I gave the 108 target in the morning. So you can see that I gave the target 958, and we hit 108 by end of the day. right? So it's not like I'm telling you hindsight or anything, because I know the range of the stock, the where the previous levels are. You can go to the weekly chart, look at the previous levels, so that you can find your targets, and you just hold as long as the 512 clouds hold. You will often see a big push into 10 a.m. and then you see a flag. You don't panic here, you hold it, and then you either, it's even a trade if you want to do pull back here, you add long for the breakout, and you take it all the way to 108 up. You can trade leverage ETFs, or you can trade options, or you can trade stock, doesn't really matter. 105 calls today on this one went from $1 to $5, 400% gain. So that's a way to turn your $1,000 to $400. If we had lost, we would have lost $2. Here we would have gone out. I will show you one of the losers that didn't work, but the power of 100 psychological level, that's what I'm trying to teach you. Such an easy setup, no hindsight, no BS. That was the plan in the pre-market, step-by-step guidance. You can see here, beautiful trade for us. Will be on watch for day 2 tomorrow. All right, so NVIDIA had an event today, right? We are always ready. I put this, I always give out the weekly calendar so the traders know that what setups are we looking at, what are the key events this week. We always talk about that. So this was what was happening today. So NVIDIA had a catalyst, and NVIDIA also was a daily on weekly breakout chart. Right, I will show you it NVIDIA on 1 hour as well. Now NVIDIA there was a little bit chop during when Jensen was speaking, but the real trade was the breakout trade, one from 195 all the way to 200. I even told the traders, if we close, I told the traders that if we close over 200, we are gonna see 205s. Right, we are gonna see 205s. So even discussed this in the community that if NVIDIA was, I told the traders earlier in the morning that if NVIDIA closes over 200, it's gonna probably get to the 5 trillion market cap, which is around the 205.30. But let's see what was our plan in the pre-market. What was our planning on NVIDIA? So let's take a look. NVIDIA all-time high breakout, 200 magnet. All-time high breakout, 200 magnet. No go under yesterday lows, right? So all-time high breakout. So where was that breakout? The breakout was right here. If you go to your 1 hour candles, you could see this was the breakout. Remember, this was the breakout. And when you're trading the breakout, you can use the 10-minute candles. You're seeing this breakout here. You can put your stops here, right? You see how we are bouncing from 34.50, and that's I already told the traders that we are gonna go to the all-time highs. It's a long, it's a 200 magnet. So we were on the voice. We were talking about the 200 magnet. And I gave that at way before that. We were still trading close to 196s, and I told the traders we're going to go to 200 magnet. We hit the 200 magnet, right? Easy peasy trade, nothing crazy. This is because it was a daily breakout. Yes, people say it's overvalued, whatever. We don't care. We find a risk. We follow the principles, the teachings. You see, it's a beautiful weekly breakout. You do not challenge this. This is a breakout pattern, right? You see, this is a weekly flag which is breaking out, also a daily breakout, 1 hour breakout. So that's how you trade those breakout. And in this particular case, the breakout, we know that 200, whenever a stock is trading between 90s and 100s, or between that 90s and 100s level, it's always gonna gravitate towards that 100 level. Many cases we traded that where we buy something from 90 to 100. Similarly, we long the NVIDIA, and we were looking for that magnet. You can see I said the magnet later at 2 p.m. that we're going to see the magnet. And of course, there's a catalyst. Jensen is speaking. We are hearing to Jensen. Even if you got stopped out on this one, but you see 34.50 now broke, you get back here on the breakout. Once failed, twice failed, thrice failed, fourth time the breakout, and squeeze, flag, squeeze. I did tell that it's not done yet. You see 200 hit, I said still holding, it's not done yet. And from there on, I told the traders to put their stops at 199. 5 trillion market cap is at 205.30s, and there we go. We're hitting closer to that 5 trillion market cap. Beautiful trade in the community. Will be interesting to see what it does tomorrow. Congratulations to a lot of investors who have been long on NVIDIA. Really, really nice move. We can quickly talk about Tesla, although today was all about NVIDIA, but this one I want to show you the 30-minute chart. In the morning, we were not really interested in Tesla unless and until it pushed. This was the plan. The plan was cautious of chop, long over the previous day high or the pre-market high. So when we see that Tesla is pushing over the pre-market high, that's when the trader longed it in the community. And then you see this was our breakout at right here. We were breaking out of yesterday's price of the opening price at 943. So I told the traders it's breaking out, the pre-market high breakout, and this is the yesterday's level breakout. There was another breakout here. So when we saw flow as well, I always teach you to watch the flow. Something you need to learn: whenever something is breaking out, always watch the flow and see if there's a flow, short-term flow, hundreds and thousands bought in a short-term calls. If it's a long breakout that's expiring soon, that right when the breakout is happening, that will give you an added conviction that this breakout is going to work out. So anyways, this is a breakout long. I gave the stops at 457. You see, you can put the stops at 457 on those breakout longs. As we started to push, I gave the target 466.60, 466.60. I gave the sorry, there was the breakout here. That was a yesterday. Yeah, this was the breakout. So when I gave the target, we gave the stops of 457 right here, and gave the targets of 466.60, 468. We hit 466.60. We were short of 468, and then it finally broke down, and we got out. Just wanted to show you these breakouts. We even traded it yesterday. I don't think I recapped it, but this was the breakout. Long was right here on the 10 Ripster 10-minute cloud calls. This is where the traders were longing. This was the breakout. This is the retest of the breakout. You hold to the targets. I gave the 460 target. We moved the stops to 464. As soon as it broke 464, we exited. So that's, you see that when we exit, even when we exit, the stock dumped like $5 from there. So that's the power of the Ripster clouds, the 512 calls, and the 512 breaks. When to enter, when to exit. Always use this. That's how you will find the consistent trades. Let's go to the next one. I'm just going to quickly go through Intel, although not I was not really focused too much on it. But why I want to talk about Intel? Because it was our day 2 setup, right? Intel was a day 3 setup. You never forget about it. Ghost board was alerting the unusual activity, and let me show you the plan that we had in the pre-market. Let's see here. So you see that the Intel, the plan in pre-market was long over 39.8, and that was the plan. And once it's breaking the resistance pivot, you take it long, and once breaks over yesterday highs, you add into the long and you take it all the way up. So there's a reason this is a day 2 strategy, right? So do not forget about any stock which has earnings on day 1. Always remember there's going to be day 2 setup, Intel day 2, right? We're going to discuss Qualcomm short as well here in a bit, but this was Intel day 2 setup, long over 39.8, 512 curls, long right here, stops here, breakout, and all the way to 48. If tomorrow, if it pushes over this area 42, it's going to push higher. But that's how you trade the breakout. So Intel, if you want to look at 30-minute chart, I just showed you the other breakouts. This is the breakout. Use the 10-minute charts to trade these breakouts. In the bull markets, most of the breakouts work. In a bearish market, most of the breakouts fail. So always remember that. Right now we are in insane bull market. That's why all the breakouts are working. Okay, so let's look at we want to talk about Qualcomm. So we want to talk about Qualcomm, another day 2 setup. So that's why I want to talk about Qualcomm, that it's another day 2 setup. So let's look what was our plan in the pre-market. Number 1 day 2 setup. So let's take a look here. Number 1 day 2 setup. Qualcomm day 2 play. Number 1. So of course it was a day 2 setup, but we also had some kind of news. So we also had our first sheet, long over 190, 1 hour MTF support below, right? So that was the plan. But what happens as soon as I see that that Qualcomm is not Oklo, we're gonna go to Qualcomm. I see that Qualcomm is heavy. You see this? So Qualcomm is heavy. So if you see here, Qualcomm is heavy, right? Why? It did not curl over 512. It's under 3450. So I told the trader it's not a long, it's a short, one short versus 185.50. Target is MTF cloud. And again, no hindsight, no BS. I gave this right at the open, 937, and by 10:30 we had hit the MTF clouds. You made $4 per share profit, risking $1.50. You risked $1,500. You made you made over $4,000. Even your puts went 50 to 100%. So anyways, this was my timestamp guidance. No long short target the MTF clouds. CEO was speaking. I told the traders, watch out, the CEO is speaking. It will be bouncing a little bit. So the CEO speaking, we were bouncing, but then again rejected. We moved our stops to 182s. As soon as it pushed over 182, we closed our short. But you see that we had a pre-market plan. You see the rejections, easy short to the MTFs, easy winner. Remember this day-to-day 3 setups. All right, so today I'm going to talk about, next I'm going to talk about UNH. So I'm just going to go to 3-minute charts just so that you don't say that the things were moving too fast. It was not. So UNH, I told the traders yesterday, be ready, be ready, be ready, be ready, be ready there. And if you look here, UNH, I made it as a red play because it was an important play. Long over 380, cautious of gap and crap, right? So 380, it never pushed over 380. So I told the traders to short it versus 380. I was actually in the voice. I told it right at the open, short it. My alert here is a little bit later, but my traders are already short. So when you short here, you know where the MTF is. That's your first target, 932s. 936, we hit that 368 target. Next target I gave 365. We hit 365. Then we were looking for 360 and 358. We met our 360 target as well. So you see that in first 10 minutes we dropped, and there's a time to trade, right? You have to be ready. You have the pre-market plan. You should have your orders ready, and you hit it right at the open, and you take it short all the way. Even if you were late, even if you shorted 374s, your risk is $6. You just still made 1-to-1 risk reward. Now if you're missing it, you wouldn't go crazy and put your whole portfolio in a trade. Just trade. If you're an options trader, just trade one contract. Who cares? Trade one contract, close it to the money. If you think you have missed it, just trade one contract. Buy this 370, buy this 370. Hold on, let's see here. This one, buy this 370 put. Right, so that 370 put, even though little illiquid, that ran pretty well in the morning. Right here, from the open, ran from $4 or even $5 all the way to $14. That's a more than 150% gain. So that's how you trade it, guys. That's how you trade the morning gap and crap setups. Let me show you more gap and craps. All right, so next one I'm going to show you is SOFI. So SOFI. Another thing I'm going to teach you in this is the curls, right? When we have curls. Actually, let me go back and UNH. I missed the UNH curl that I wanted to show you on the UNH. I did send an alert on UNH right here. 512 test. So what does 512 test means? 512 test means get out of the short and look for the curls. And you can see that we had this 512 curl. You long right here. Your stops under here, 366 candles. And 370 is your first target, and look at that monster curl, right? So this is the first time it pulled over the Ripster clouds, making a tiny trend line, MTF. So it gives you conviction, right? So you buy whatever you buy, your stops are right under here. If you're buying this candle, your stops are right under here. Start playing these curls so that if it failed here, if it rejected that, you see I send these price alerts, you would have taken a small loss. But look at that, you're buying here at 368, you're risking $2. But you're making $8. 1 risk to multiple reward. Always remember your risk reward. Do not trade blindly. Your losers should always be same, and your reward should be much more than how much you lose in a lot of these trades. So next one we're going to talk about is SOFI. So SOFI was also let's go to earning plays. So just like our UNH, SOFI was also one of our big play. Let's take a look here. SOFI. So you see that on a 10-minute chart, SOFI was a gap and crap. SOFI was a gap and crap. Same thing as UNH. So SOFI told no long as long as $30.80. Watch the pops to short, and the short target was MTF. You see that it faded from 30, 50, 30, 40, 30, 20 all the way to 29 and 28.80. So it was a beautiful short. And then we exited the shorts at right here 11:24 when it was pushing over the clouds. And if you see that from the push over the clouds, it gave you the same Ripster cloud setup, same UNH setup, MTF below, flag here, you take it all the way up, right? So that's how you trade the gap and craps, and that's how you get out of the shorts and look for the long. So there was short setup, there was a long setup. Same in UNH, short setup with MTF and the long setup. Learn this setup. It happens a lot. If you lose small, but like I said, when you win, you will make much better, more than what you lost. So let's talking about this, let's talk about a loser here, right? So on the short side, we can talk about a short loser. Let's look at AMKR. So AMKR, we were trying to short it. That's the plan on AMKR was an earning play. Let's take a look here. AMKR earning play. Trade versus 2021 MTF. Since MTF was breaking, I told the traders to short it, but it kind of kept making higher low, higher low, higher low, and then it curled here. We got out of the short, and because it never broke that, our stops were at 30, 40. So we lost on our short, right? So we lost like 50 cents on that short. But you see this 512 curls with the MTF clouds, 512 curls and reclaim of MTF clouds, and completed the MTF magnet. Right, so you can see that. So that's, you can see, similar to SOFI, similar to UNH, how the short turns into the bullish 512 curls. This is where you can buy, and of course use my concept of Ripster clouds. Your target from one MTF, you always get the second MTF. Was a nice long trade. Short was a loser, but learn from this. You can see this UNH, SOFI, and other trades. So next one we're going to look at is RMBS. Let's take a look at RMBS. RMBS was another 100 psychological level. What do I teach you about 100 psychological level? Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's go to the pre-market plan, one of the RMBS, one of the famous names. So RMBS, I highlighted as a red, long if 96 holds for the curls. So as soon as the market open, I see it pushing. I told the traders that it's a long curl, 100 versus 100. So you put your stops at 100, or I mean, if you should. Initially, it was a curl trade. You didn't even have to wait till 100. But when it pulled back, you buy at 100. You put your stops at 99, 100 cycle long. And from that 100, it went all the way to 107.81. Right? And we exited when it pulled back here. So you see that the plan, how the plan works, pre-market plan given to the traders. Only long if 96 holds for the curls, bullish neutral bias, and when it curls initially, you can long that, or you wait for this 100 psych long pullback, RMBS 107.81. Also MTF magnet from MTF to MTF. So make sure you remember these curl setups. They will really help you in trading. There was another long loser for us today, that was SWKS, but you can see, still you can see the power of the Ripster clouds. We stop out, right? We stop out of the longs. We took a loss. We took a couple of dollars, $2, $3 loss, but it faded from 85 all the way to 80, right? You see there was a short available there. It's a gap and crap short. We will cover PayPal as well, but it was a gap and crap short. So this was it was a loser on the long side, but you can see the power of Ripster clouds. So the plan was gap and crap under 83, hold if that curls. So we were trying to curl on the longs, but longs didn't work. On the pullback, we stopped out. We longed 87, we stopped out under 85, and you could short it here, or you could wait for a midday short under 83. Like I said in the pre-market plan, it faded. You could make some decent, a little bit of chump change on that trading versus the gap and crap, midday gap and craps. So next one we're going to look at is PayPal. So PayPal was our midday long setup, but we stopped out. We just got $1 from it. So I will show you my pre-market guidance in a bit. So we curled PayPal right here. You can see that 777.20 stops. We curled it right here at 770.80. It pushed, a target I gave was 790.10, and you can see that it pushed to 790.20. So close, and then it rejected. We got out. But similar to what SWKS did, when PayPal broke that level, PayPal came down for the gap fill. So PayPal plan was bearish buyers to short the pops for gap and crap under 79, right? So it popped, right? So you look carefully on the pre-market plan here. What was the pre-market plan? Pre-market plan was bearish buys to short the pops as long as under 79, and exactly it topped at 79. You scalped that long, it stayed short. If you use my pre-market planning, you made really good. You short starter here, you put your stops at 79, you add under this area breakdown, and again MTF targets met. Always look for the MTF targets. So that was a beautiful trade for us. Let's look at the next one here. Next one we're going to look at is quickly look at UPS. UPS was initially short, but rest of the day it did not work. It was also a 100 psychological trade. Short is 100. You see that, you short versus 100, and then it never broke 95, and it just chopped around all day. But you can see that same concept, 100 psychological short on UPS. If you see here, UPS here, long over 100, short under it. Simple plan. The plan was pretty simple, long over 100, short under it. And you can see that UPS rejected that 100 and short gave you almost, even if you short in 99, you made like $4 per share profit on UPS. And no hindsight, no BS, everything, pre-market planning and also live guidance. Anything else? Let's take a look. All right, let's look at the recap, wrap it up by DHI. DHI was a 512 call. This is a morning 512 call setup, and that was on our game plan as well. DHI, one of our top bearish buys to short the pops. Do not short over 150. Do not short over 150. It's a call over 150. So as soon as it pushes over 150, you take a call long, and it goes from 150 all the way to 157. So that's how you remember. That's how you play the calls. You see the power of the psychological numbers. Use these concepts. Play the earnings. Big trade is gonna come up. Use these teachings, and you will find consistency in the stock market and grow your portfolio. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.